The world today is louder than ever. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone is rushing, forcing, competing. But in the midst of all this noise, there is a truth we often forget. The strongest power in life is not loud. It does not force. It flows. Flow is the quiet energy that moves rivers, shapes mountains, builds empires, and transforms lives. It is the silent power inside you, waiting to be awakened. Imagine a river. It doesn't argue with the rocks in its path. It doesn't force the land to move. It simply flows around, over and through obstacles. And with time, the hardest stone is shaped, the deepest valley is carved. This is the first lesson. Patience with persistence creates transformation. The river whispers, "Do not fight life. Flow with it. In flowing you will find strength." In a village by the river lived Aaron, a young dreamer. He wanted success, recognition, greatness. But his heart was restless. He tried forcing opportunities, competing with everyone, speaking louder just to be noticed. But the more he pushed, the more life resisted. His failures grew, his spirit weakened. One evening defeated, Aaron sat by the river. He closed his eyes and listened. The river said nothing, yet it spoke everything. It moved without noise, yet carried endless power. Aaron whispered to himself, "Maybe life is not about fighting. Maybe it is about flowing." That night, he made a decision. He would stop forcing and start flowing. Aaron began small. Instead of arguing, he started listening. Instead of forcing his ideas, he shared them calmly, and allowed others to see their value. Instead of chasing success desperately, he focused on growing his skills with love and patience. Slowly, people began noticing him, not because he was loud, but because he was steady. His presence carried weight. His words mattered more when he spoke less. The silent power of flow had awakened in him. Flow is not just for dreamers. Flow is for everyone. A mother flows when she nurtures her child with patience. A teacher flows when they guide with compassion, instead of control. A student flows when they immerse so deeply in learning that hours feel like minutes. A leader flows when they adapt to change instead of fearing it. The truth is, when you are in flow, time disappears. Doubt disappears. The struggle disappears. What remains is presence, power, and peace. One year, the village faced drought. The river slowed, fear spread. People argued, panicked, and blamed each other. But Aaron remembered the river's lesson. Flow adapts. He gathered the villagers and said, "Instead of fighting the drought, let us flow with it. Let us adapt." Together, they dug channels to save the remaining water, learned new ways of planting, and worked with nature instead of resisting it. Months later, when rain returned, the village thrived stronger than ever. Aaron had discovered the ultimate truth. Flow is not avoiding challenges. It is moving with them, adjusting, and trusting the journey. Chapter 6. Flow and Human Potential. Minutes 42-480. Look at the greatest athletes. When they are in flow, they perform beyond limits. Look at the greatest artists. Their creations emerge effortlessly in hours of timeless immersion. Look at the greatest leaders. They act with calm clarity even in chaos. This is not luck, this is flow. Flow is the zone where mind, body, and spirit align. It is where your best self awakens. And this silent power exists in you too. Life is a river, sometimes calm, sometimes wild, sometimes shallow, sometimes deep, but always moving. You can resist it, fight it, exhaust yourself, or you can surrender to its rhythm, trust its direction, and let it carry you forward. Remember, noise is not power. Force is not strength. Flow is the silent power. When you learn to flow, you stop struggling against life and start moving with it. And in that movement, you will find peace, strength, and purpose. Flow is already within you. Trust it, live it, become it. Life often feels like a maze. We plan, we predict, we push, and yet the road rarely goes the way we imagine. Sometimes we face delays, sometimes obstacles, sometimes complete redirection. We ask ourselves, why is my path so difficult? Why can't it just be straight? But maybe the path is not meant to be straight. Maybe it's meant to be shaped, slowly, gently, and powerfully, by the invisible current of life. Like a river carving valleys, like wind shaping mountains, like time polishing stone, flow is always at work. And when you learn to let flow shape your path, life no longer feels like resistance. It feels like guidance. Think of a river starting high in the mountains. It begins as a small trickle. At first, it does not look powerful, but step by step, drop by drop, it becomes stronger. It does not rush straight to the ocean. It twists, it bends. It meets rocks, trees, and cliffs. But it doesn't stop, it adapts. It moves around obstacles and, in doing so, shapes the land itself. This is flow, silent, steady, patient, yet unstoppable. In a small village by the river lived Leon, a dreamer filled with ambition. She wanted her life to be perfect, predictable, controlled. She believed that success was about making a straight line from where she stood to where she wanted to be. So she made plans. Strict ones. She forced herself into directions. She rejected anything that didn't match her vision. But life had other plans. Each time she forced a path, something changed, a failure, a rejection, a delay, a redirection. She grew frustrated. Why won't life let me walk straight? One evening, broken and confused, she sat by the river. Watching the water curve and twist, she thought, the river never moves in a straight line, yet it always reaches the sea. Maybe my life is not broken. Maybe it is flowing. Day after day, Leon returned to the river. She began to notice lessons hidden in its flow: adaptability. The river does not resist rocks, it moves around them. She realized obstacles in her life were not walls but guides. Patience. The river is never in a hurry. Yet it always arrives. She realized her impatience was stealing her peace. Consistency. The river flows every day, never stopping. She realized success is built not in giant leaps, but in steady steps. Power in silence. The river does not shout, yet it carves mountains. She realized true power is quiet strength, not noise. Leon began to live differently. She stopped fighting every challenge. She started trusting detours. She allowed herself to grow, slowly but steadily, like the river. As Leon practiced flow, she discovered its power everywhere. A farmer who flowed with the seasons produced abundant crops. A teacher who flowed with the curiosity of students inspired learning. A mother who flowed with her child's pace nurtured joy instead of pressure. A craftsman who flowed with his passion created beauty without stress. She realized flow was not just a river's wisdom, it was life's wisdom. Whenever people resisted life, they suffered. But when they flowed with life, they thrived. One year, a fierce storm struck the village. The river overflowed, breaking its banks. Fear spread quickly. People panicked, shouting, blaming, and trying desperately to block the water. But the harder they resisted, the more destruction came. Lam remembered the river's wisdom. She called out, "Don't fight the river. Let's flow with it. Let's adapt." She guided the villagers to dig channels, redirect streams, and use the floodwater to nourish fields. Instead of resisting, they worked with the river. When the storm passed, the river had changed its course. But it had left behind fertile soil, stronger land, and new opportunities. What looked like destruction had actually shaped a stronger future. Years later, Lian became a guide for many travelers. People came to her for advice. She never told them to control life. She told them, "Life is like a river. Your job is not to command it but to learn its rhythm. Let flow shape your path, and you will always reach where you are meant to be." Some who heard her words thought it was weakness to let go, but those who practiced flow discovered peace, strength, and success. They realize, the path shaped by flow is wiser than the path forced by control. Your life, too, is a river. It will twist. It will bend. It will surprise you. It will bring storms and calm waters. But every detour is shaping you. Every obstacle is guiding you. Every delay is preparing you. Remember, don't curse the curves. They are shaping your journey. Don't resist the rocks. They are refining your strength. Don't fear the storms. They are expanding your possibilities. Let flow shape your path. Trust it, walk with it, and in time, you will discover that the journey was never broken. It was always leading you home. Life is full of choices. We can hold on tightly, clinging to control, fear, and possessions, or we can release, flow freely, and let love guide us. Many people confuse strength with control. They think holding on makes them powerful. But real strength is not in gripping harder. It is in letting go with faith. Real love is not in possession. It is in giving freely, deeply, and unconditionally. To flow freely is to trust the current of life. To love deeply is to open your heart without fear. Together, they form the foundation of true freedom. Beside a village flowed a great river. Every season, it brought fresh water, nourishing crops, animals, and people. The villagers drank, farmed, and lived because of it. One day, a child asked, "Why doesn't the river hold its water? Why does it keep giving it away?" The elder smiled and said, "Because the river understands. Its purpose is not to keep. Its purpose is to give. By flowing freely, it gives life. And because it gives, it never runs dry." This was the first lesson. Flow is abundance. When you give, you do not lose. You multiply. A young woman named Era lived near the river. She admired its beauty, but her life was very different. She held tightly to everything, her possessions, her emotions, her fears. She avoided risks, avoided love, avoided trust. She thought, "If I hold tightly, nothing can hurt me." But the more she clung, the emptier she felt. She was safe. Yes, but safe inside walls that suffocated her spirit. One evening, broken by loneliness, she asked the river, "How do you give everything away, and still remain full?" The river whispered in its rhythm, "Freedom is not in holding. Freedom is in flowing. Love is not in keeping. Love is in giving." Era began to experiment. She let go of grudges she had held for years. She stopped worrying about what people thought, and started living with honesty. She began to share her time, her kindness, her care. The more she let go, the lighter she felt. The freer she became, the deeper her love grew. People noticed a glow about her. She no longer seemed closed off. She radiated openness. She realized flow frees you from fear. Love frees you from emptiness. But life always tests truth. One year, a powerful storm struck the village. The river swelled, flooding fields and homes. Fear spread quickly. Villagers hoarded food, locked doors, and clung to what little they had. Era felt fear rise in her heart. She wanted to hide, to protect herself. But she remembered the river's wisdom. Even in storms, the river flows. So she chose to flow. She opened her home, shared food, comforted neighbors, and gave love when others withheld it. Her actions became contagious. Slowly, others followed. They supported one another, shared what they had, and survived together. The storm had damaged the village, but it also deepened love within it. Era realized, when you flow freely and love deeply, even storms become teachers. Years passed, and Era's wisdom grew. People asked her, "How do you love so deeply without fear of loss?" She replied, "Because real love is not possession. Real love is not about holding someone tightly. It is about freeing them, supporting them, and trusting them." The river does not hold its water. Yet it nourishes everything it touches. In the same way, love is not about control. It is about release. Her words transformed hearts. Parents learn to trust their children more. Friends learn to forgive more easily. Couples learn to love without fear of losing. The village flourished, not because of wealth, but because love flowed freely among them. In her later years, Era would sit by the river, children gathering around her. She told them stories of storms, struggles, and love. Her final lesson was always the same: flow freely, for life was never meant to be controlled. Love deeply, for hearts were never meant to be guarded. The river teaches us both: in giving, you gain. In flowing, you become. In loving, you live. Her story became a legacy that lasted for generations. Your life is like Era's, like the river's. When you try to control everything, you build walls that isolate you. When you release, flow freely, and love deeply, you break the walls and live fully. Remember, flow freely, and you will never feel trapped. Love deeply, and you will never feel empty. Do both, and your life will inspire everyone you touch. Flow freely, love deeply, and let your life become the river of light that nourishes the world. Close your eyes, take a breath. Feel how air enters, nourishes you, and leaves. Notice you don't force it. You don't command it. It flows. Your heartbeat flows without your control. Rivers flow without permission. Seasons flow without resistance. Life is already teaching us something: flow is the natural way. When we resist, we suffer. When we let go, we move in rhythm with something greater. Long ago, a wise elder told this story: A traveler stood by a river, frustrated by the chaos in his life. He said, "Why must everything be so difficult?" The river replied, "I face rocks, valleys, storms, but I never stop flowing. I do not resist obstacles, I move around them. And because I flow, I always reach the sea." The traveler understood. His life was hard because he resisted. Lesson 1. The more you resist, the more you suffer. The more you flow, the more you arrive. In a small village lived Aaron, a man who believed control was the key to life. He scheduled every moment. He clung to his possessions. He feared uncertainty and hated surprises. But his mind was restless. No matter how much he controlled, life slipped through his fingers. One evening, weary, he sat beside the river. He whispered, "Why do I feel so heavy?" The river answered, "Because you are swimming against the current. Let go, and you will be carried." Aaron decided to test the river's wisdom. When plans fell apart, instead of anger, he chose acceptance. When people disagreed, he listened instead of arguing. When he felt fear, he breathed and trusted life's unfolding. For the first time, he felt light. His mind calmed. Opportunities arose naturally. Friendships deepened. Even work began to feel joyful. He realized flow is not weakness. Flow is power without strain. One summer, a fierce storm struck the village. Crops drowned, homes collapsed, fear spread. Many resisted reality, angry, bitter, hopeless. Aaron remembered the river's teaching. Instead of resisting, he flowed with the challenge. He gathered neighbors, shared food, encouraged unity. Together, they adapted, rebuilt, and survived. The storm had brought destruction, yes. But it also revealed strength, compassion, and resilience. Lesson 2: Flow does not mean avoiding storms. It means moving through them with grace. Years later, Aaron began teaching what he had learned. Flow is not just for rivers. Flow is for conversations. For love, for work, for life. He explained in conversations, flow by listening, not forcing. In love, flow by giving, not clinging. In challenges, flow by adapting, not resisting. He told them, the bamboo survives storms not because it is strong, but because it bends. This was the heart of flow: flexibility over rigidity, surrender over resistance. Aaron loved to walk in nature. Everywhere he looked, he saw proof of flow: clouds drifting without struggle, birds migrating without maps, seeds breaking open, becoming trees without effort. Everything lived by flow. Only humans fought against it. He told children, if you want to suffer less, look at the sky, the river, the trees. Nature is showing you how to live. Flow is the natural way. Life is not meant to be forced. The river does not fight, yet it carves valleys. The wind does not push, yet it shapes the mountains. The seed does not resist, yet it becomes a forest. And you, your heart, your soul, are also made for flow. So release the weight. Trust the current. Allow life to carry you. Flow is not weakness, it is wisdom. Flow is not surrender, it is strength. Flow is the natural way.